You're a cunt. I don't know what your eyesight's like. You're a bit older than me.
No, I've got 20/20 vision. My eyes are really, really good. I feel like I'm going to put this down here because you're going to make me laugh. I just feel like a laugh is
Why?
coming. A laugh
I
is
haven't
coming.
said anything.
Because everyone laughs at me when I say this, but my vision is 20/20. I've got great vision, but my eyes are very sensitive.
In what? I'm not.
So sensitive to light. For a start, not this light.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, just try to turn off the torch.
No, like, they're really sensitive to light and they're really sensitive to like water. So I can't swim without goggles.
Yeah.
You know, some people can swim underwater and open their eyes. I can't do that.
But some people are psychotic though. They'll do that under seawater, which is
That's what I mean.
Work. Like chlorine, I can do occasionally. Like it depends on how much chlorine's in there. Like sometimes you go under and it's just fucking.
I don't understand how the water doesn't like rush into your eyes.
Well, it kind of does, but. I don't know, you just come out and you've got red eyes and you just take it, you know?
Nah, I've just put on goggles.
Yeah, do you know what?
So I'll be like pool parties in Dubai and there's things looking at me, I was looking at them like, yeah, what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
Snap on my goggles, bro.
No, but I feel like I swim a lot better with goggles though. I feel like without
you
it...
can fucking see stuff.
Yeah, I know, but without it, I feel like my swimming ability is like that of a child who's just starting to learn to swim. Like I'm all over the place. Like I'm fucking front crawling like diagonal across the pool. But as soon as I have goggles, I'm straight like an arrow.
You just bump into some random woman underwater. It's fucking terrible.
Yeah, but that wasn't an accident. That's what under the guise of the goggles, do you know what I mean?
Casual sexual assault. Casual. It's still
Speaking of which, no, joking.
It's still going to come out in court. Speaking of swimming, genuine segue. Are there any sports that you prefer watching the women's version to the men's version? Because I think we're going to talk about this
Netball.
Men and women. we're going to talk about this USA women's money situation, but for me, men's football and women's football are basically different sports. And when I'm watching men's sports and women's sports, I'm not some of them I enjoy the same. So like men's tennis and women's tennis are vastly different, but I enjoy them the same. I like tennis as a sport to watch. Swimming, I would say, swimming's kind of the same as a spectator sport. It's kind of the same. But some sports like men's football and women's football to me are totally different sports. Gymnastics, I probably prefer watching the women's gymnastics to the men's gymnastics, and that's not just for some weird sexual perverted
because they're wearing tight outfits.
But the big muscular power stuff is really interesting to watch. But I can, as somebody who's reasonably muscular and powerful myself, I can kind of relate to that. It's the stuff that some of the women do and they're super flexible and that I can't even get my brain around how they do that. So I enjoy watching it, but they are super different. They're in the same domain and it's all gymnastics, but they are vastly different sports.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I think they look more elegant.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like when they do, I don't know what the sport is. I was about to say
rhythmic gymnastics.
Yeah, but I was just about to say like any sort of Olympic sport, or not any, but like a lot of the Olympic sports is probably where I either prefer watching the women's or it's about as equally as enjoyable as the men's.
Yeah.
Like for swimming, for me, I don't really give a shit. I don't really care if it's Michael Phelps or whoever. Like I don't really watch swimming. That's the same as cycling for me. I just find it boring. But like the gymnastics, when they're kind of like cartwheeling and doing flips across the
the rhythmic gymnastics.
Yeah, is crazy, or synchronized swimming. I think women like they look like when they're doing that, it looks really impressive, and really like enjoyable to watch. But in terms of like football or like rugby and stuff like that, I'll be honest, I don't watch any women's versions of those sports. Like
does Man United have a women's team?
Yeah, they do. Ella Toon, who scored in the Women's World Cup, she plays for it, fam.
Of course. Do you not watch Man United women?
No, not really. But mainly...
You're not a Man United fan, really, I guess.
Well...
That's for the club.
Yeah, it depends. If we're winning, then I'm the fan of them, glory hunter. No, I don't watch... I think because the women's games are normally on MUTV, and I'm not paying for MUTV. Okay. And I'm not really going to go out my way and listen to them on the radio or whatever. Like, it's just... Okay. I'm not as invested in that team, I'll be honest. Yeah. Like... I've heard they're decent and they probably perform better than the men's team, especially the last couple of years. Yeah. But I don't know, I'm not interested in it. Every time I've watched women's football, when I have watched it, apart from the World Cup, because the World Cup I actually saw some decent games, especially the final. But like any other women's football that I've watched, it's just like I see some of the goals that go in, and I'm like, really?
So I'm just playing devil's advocate because I had this conversation with my ex, and I said the same stuff, and she was just livid. So she went on YouTube and she found all the like silly, wonky moments of men's football.
Yeah.
And she was like, you guys have these moments as well. And she was kicking off. So obviously she's like strong feminist, and anytime you said anything about women, she'd just kick off.
Yeah.
But we do have some of those howlers.
We do, yeah.
In Joanne's, if you don't watch enough,
really one the other day.
If you don't watch enough of the women's game and you just watch the crazy bad highlights, then you could do the same for the men's game, right?
Yeah, but I feel like it's more free. Like I feel like I could put on a game of women's football.
Yeah.
And I will see. I feel like with the men's football, without just being biased, I feel like those moments do happen. Like she's right.
Yeah.
But like those highlight reels she's finding, like. I feel like that's the same with men. You know when you try and like gas up a player and you try and like find his montages, his highlight reels. You can make El Neni look like a fucking.
El Neni's a baller, man.
Yeah.
90% pass completion.
You hate him.
I don't hate him.
Yeah.
I don't hate
Your tone's changed on him. Yeah, El Neni.
El Neni.
Yeah.
My guy for a minute.
Yeah. No, I don't know about that.
And even my guy for a minute. He just shouldn't start, but
yeah.
He's a good player. He's a good player.
Or play for Arsenal.
No, he's a good player.
But I'm just saying, like. With montages, you can make a player look like you could probably find montages of Maguire playing well, but I can make a montage of him playing shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, but with women's football, I feel like every time if I watch a full 90-minute game, I'll see something ridiculous, like a shot that's just rolling across the floor and it somehow beats the keeper.
Yeah.
Like, and it shouldn't. And
I will say the goalkeeping is sometimes really horrendous. Like it just looks like match fixing. Honestly, it's crazy.
That's my point. Like, it just doesn't feel competitive because at any point they could have this. Like, if there's a genuine moment of brilliance in the men's game, it'll be most of the time likely because it's absolutely like a shot was way too powerful or like it's placed perfectly. Whereas in the women's game, I think there's a bit more lenience in terms of like the shot could be awful, but it will still be the keeper.
I think
exciting.
I think that obviously the money thing is a big deal, and in a moment feminists fighting for the right to make the same money as men and different things like I understand that, but I think for the long-term success of women's football they have to focus more on growing the sport, because I've done some number searches earlier. My phone's recording so I don't have my phone in my hand, but I'm pretty sure I looked at it, they said like 250 to 300 million people, men, play football to some level. For women, that's across the world. For women, there's about 15 to 20 million. So there's 1/10 of the number of people playing the sport. So the level of talent you're going to get, if we take the top 10% of talent of the women's game and the top 10% of talent of the men's game is going to be better because there are just way more people playing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's just statistics. And then on top of that, there are more men's academies and much more men's infrastructure, right? There's more Sunday league teams and structured pyramids and all that type of stuff. Do you know what I mean? For me, I enjoy women's football at the top end. I love Arsenal. I love Leah Williamson, especially. Everyone knows I just love Leah Williamson. And she's got a girlfriend as well. I just don't care. I just love her. She's a wavy player as well. But like. Yeah, the top level of women's football is good, but for me, like I'm not even being cocky, being gassed. I think I'm a pretty decent player myself.
Better than Leah Williamson.
No, definitely not. And when I see some of the stuff that happens, it's the physical side of the game, the power side of the game. When I watch men's football, I enjoy watching stuff and going, I could never do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the Ronaldo bicycle kicks, and obviously they're like extreme moments, but some of the stuff that these guys do, I look at that and go, I couldn't do that. And when I watch football and think, I could do that, it takes away the magic for me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Why do you think there's that, like, there's less of those moments in the women's game? Like, the physical battles, pushing people off?
I'd have to talk to a woman. I have no idea. To be fair, women's football's quite physical in terms of 50-50 challenges. Maybe more than the men's game, actually. They're quite brutish in terms of that side of the game. But I mean, in terms of, I don't know, because women's legs are very, very strong and very powerful. But I don't see that many.
All their legs are tongue.
But I don't see that many you look at like the speed of certain goals, right? So you see certain free kicks go in like 25-30 miles an hour and stuff like that. I don't see that many like proper bangers, and they're good at like kind of finesse shotting and stuff. I just don't see a lot of like the bigger, more powerful. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I have no idea. But I don't want to talk about like genetics. I'm not a woman. I've never been a woman. Do you know what I mean? I have to talk to women about that.
Yeah, it's interesting because the top side of the game, even the goal in the World Cup that I think Ella Toon scored, she chipped the keeper. Like that was. That's like technically
it's hard.
Exactly. But like I just don't see it enough in the women's game. And I don't know if it's like advertised as well. Like you just know that, you know, Man United are playing Arsenal on a Sunday because it's Sky Sports, like, you know, Super Sunday. Whereas like, I don't see that with the women's football as much. I don't think it's advertising. I think they're trying to take steps towards it.
That's part of the problem of the youth of the sport. Because the youth of the sport, if the Arsenal and Man United women play, we don't know, the general public don't know the history of that game.
Yeah.
Whereas when Arsenal and United's men's teams play, even when they're both not outside the top four, we know the historical context behind that. They're going to advertise the Van Nistelrooy, you know, missed penalty, or they're going to advertise, you know, you guys beat the Ronaldo free kick against Arsenal, or whatever. They're going to advertise these moments. Don't worry, I'm making it balance.
Ronaldo Shishi in the crowd.
You know what I mean? But I'm saying they're going to advertise these moments as build up to our game, because that's the historical context of the game, and the women's game at the moment is lacking a lot of that. We're building that history now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so how much do you see the two? Because with the US team, men's and women's, what they've done is they've basically put the two teams together. So all the money that the men and the women make split evenly, but obviously the men's game pays more, so it works out a bit of a pay increase for the women. But that's basically what they've done. How much do you? Obviously, I watch Arsenal men and women. You watch Man United men, but not Man United women.
Yeah.
So how much do you mean, like, could they make that same broadcast media package for promotion? Could they use that same promotion for the women's game, or is it totally different?
What do you mean that broadcast package? Is it
what I said about like the Ronaldo shushing, the Van Nistelrooy penalty, Arsene Wenger versus head-to-head getting sent off and stuff. Would that run as a promotional package for the women's game? Because it's still Man United versus Arsenal, but is it?
No, I think they would need more, because like I don't know of the players from the past in the women's game.
I'm saying before that, would you look at that and go, that's a totally different sport?
I don't think I would, but I think I would need to buy into the like with Man United and Arsenal. I'm just invested in the characters. Like, you knew about the Roy Keanes, you knew about, like, I just knew about the rivalry there. I knew about the battles in the tunnel and stuff like that. And I feel like if they did something like a Drive to Survive, because nobody really cared about F1 until that came about. If they did something like that for women's football,
not nobody, but yeah.
Well, but like,
I know what you mean.
Nobody,
it grew the popularity.
It definitely grew the popularity of the sport, and like last year was probably the biggest turnout they had. Yeah. They were broadcasting on 2 channels for the final in.
Well, like an All or Nothing, maybe.
Or an All or Nothing, or something where you get to see behind the scenes. You get to see, like, you get to get a bit of an eye for the personality of the players, and
because it does seem like only major tournaments we hear about women's football. Generally, like, when I say, again, I follow Arsenal. I'm not gonna say I follow women's football at large, but I follow Arsenal, follow our results, and our women's team. I think us, Chelsea, and City are probably the 3 best women's teams in England. So we frequently, while Arsenal were not, but while the men's team were not winning trophies, I had the women's team to rely on because we weren't winning anything.
Yeah, they were banging.
So, but yeah, I think you're right. Like, outside of that, you do, like I said, I think building that history is going to be really, really key and getting you to understand the players, know their journeys, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, I need something to buy into. Like, I think that's what's good about them bringing in more like women commentators. Like, Alex Scott does a lot of like commentary. It is Alex Scott, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, she got her book come out. She was an Arsenal player, wasn't she?
Of course, yeah.
And then Laura Woods does a lot of. Yeah, Laura Woods. Everybody knows about Laura Woods. She does some commentary, and like they're speaking. They've got a bit more of a voice.
Also, on the off chance that Laura Woods sees this. Will you marry me? I would marry Laura Woods 100%.
Yeah.
She's cool, but she's an Arsenal fan,
I was.
She's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the only difficulty I think I'd have in a relationship with her.
Laura Woods.
Otherwise, we'd get on really well. She might be taller than me though as well. How tall? She looks pretty tall.
I love that.
Yeah. Do you mind height? Sorry, just segue quick.
I dated a girl called Jennifer. Who's like 5'11", 6 foot.
Jenny.
Yeah, but she was like some Latin girl.
I'm saying Jenny like I know her.
She was like some Latin girl, and she was like a model. So people used to look at us. I'm like 5'8", and she's like 6 foot, and people used to look at us and like giggle. But she's more banging.
Well, you were her security guard.
She's more banging than all these guys' girls. So it's like I don't get the banter. But for me, it doesn't bother me at all.
I just feel like a bit of an inferiority complex when they look down at me. You know, when the head's just like.
I think like if she's over.
I'm having to look up.
If she's overall bigger than me, so if she's like taller than me and like broader than me, then I think I might feel that way.
Bro,
but the girls I've dated that are taller than me tend to be quite tall, but also quite slim. Whereas I'm shorter, but I'm quite broad and stocky. So I feel like it evens out.
You like public display loads of affection, yeah? So imagine, yeah.
Sure, why not?
No, but imagine, yeah, you're like you know, sometimes you've got those walls that you sit on, and normally a girl sits on them, and you're standing, and then your lips in your mouth. What if you were the one?
It's funny.
Sat on the wall, and she was.
You have to understand that it's funny. Like it's funny. It just is. Do you know what I mean? If you know that it's funny, then it's like. This is funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's it, bro.
That would make me mad uncomfortable though. I'm not into public display. Like, you would have to you know,
if I'm walking down the street with an unbelievable girl, then if you're
but you know, on escalators as well, yeah? She would be like standing 2 steps below you.
Yeah, I say, bro, stand down there, bro. What are you doing? Motherfucker, try to stand 2 steps above me on the escalator, you pussy, or fuck off, bro. Who's the most banging girl in the world? Like, just, sorry, we've gone completely off topic.
Yeah.
Who's the most banging girl in the world? Just off the top of your head.
I'm gonna go Margot Robbie.
Okay, so you wouldn't date a 5'10" Margot Robbie?
You fucking backed me into a corner, didn't you?
You're bugging, bro. If you walk into a club or a bar, even if she's in heels, yeah, and so it's 5'10" in heels, she's like 6'3".
Well, I'm wearing heels as well then,
yeah, but I'm saying like you might wear some fucking McQueens or
Air
something.
Force Ones or
But I'm saying like, man never gonna look at you and be like, like that guy's shorter than his girl. But then your girl's phenomenal. So it's like, what? For me personally, I don't get the banter. If my girl's more phenomenal than your girl, I don't understand. Or you've got no girl, period.
I think it's just a personal, like, it'd just be a personal insecurity, innit? Just like...
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, I get that. But like I say, the key thing for me is that man's walking into establishments with my thing and my thing's pattern. Yeah. So, what I'd like, do you know what I mean? Man, no can't stand... That's like you having an average car and man with no car trying to banter your car. That don't make any sense. You've got no car. You can't banter my car from the bus.
Well, unless you're driving like a little G-Wiz or something, I think I could...
I could drive a smart car. If you're on the bus, how are you bantering like, Joey?
Yeah, but the G-Wiz is different, and I could walk faster than that. I could genuinely walk faster than the
I don't even know what that is.
It's, you know, the little one-seater.
Oh,
it goes like 31
my uncle had one. My uncle
really?
Had one. Yeah, my uncle had one. Yeah.
Why is that so fun? Do you know what? Every time I see that car, I just imagine the Flintstones where his feet pop out the bottom and he's like pushing it along.
My uncle had one, yeah, still. I'm sure my uncle had one of them.
That's mad. Do you know, sorry, again, another segue.
Go on.
When we were playing, well, I was a lot younger, we were playing football at this, like, just the cages where we used to play football.
Yeah.
And there was a G-Wiz, but back in the ends, you know, back in High Wycombe or somewhere. We were playing in the cages, and then when we got out, there was a fucking G-Wiz pod, and we ended up picking it up and moving it to another spot.
You picked it up?
Yeah, we picked it up. It's actually it's light.
That's mad.
It's light, and we moved it to another spot. And that's
a
harmless joke, because like they're gonna come back and be like,
unless the person's got like severe dementia or something.
Oh, that's key. Well,
you lot could be bad people.
Yeah, we could be gaslighting them. Like,
nah, that's not gaslighting.
Well, it is, because it's back on.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean?
It went off. Did you not see the light went off?
Oh.
See, it went off.
Wait. Nah, it didn't work. All right. Anyway,
It's calm.
But that's like. That happened. Anyway, we've got a massive segue. Sorry, go back to women's.
Yeah, so the women's
USA team, men's USA team.
So they're pooling all their money together and then splitting the money.
Yeah.
Which, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do.
Mhm.
I personally don't agree with it. I don't think it's the right. When I say I don't agree with it, I don't disagree with the women getting paid.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the right way to build equity in the women's sport. Okay. I think that it doesn't actually help. It reduces the urgency of actually building the sport because now the women just get paid the same as the men, and they're like, sweet. For themselves, their job is done. The rest of the women are pissed.
Do they actually get paid the same amount as the men's, or is it kind of balanced out? Like, say,
no, it's a revenue split. It's an equitable revenue split. Okay. So I'm 99% sure. We'll have to fact check, but I'm pretty sure. However, where it does go beyond that is actually because of apparently they're on a pay per game basis or something like that. But the women now actually get stuff that the men also do not have. Right. So they get stuff like, obviously, health insurance is a big deal in America. It's very expensive. Yeah. The women's FA is going to cover the women's team's health insurance, which they don't do for the men. Life insurance and maternity leave. So they can get paid even if they go on maternity leave, where the men will not get paid if they go on paternity leave. So they've actually finagled more.
Yeah, so the needle's gone from
it's gone
one
completely
extreme to the other.
Completely to the other side.
Yeah.
Which, like I say, is good for this particular group of women, but I don't think is good for women overall or women's football overall. Yeah. Because, like I say, it reduces the women's the US team is the biggest team or the most successful team in the world. So that actually reduces the urgency to build the sport. They're not going to feel the need to build the sport anymore because they're getting paid the same.
Yeah, but I think like if you just look at it from like a business perspective, you know, like certain businesses they have like multiple products, and some products will do better than others.
Correct.
And they'll get more money from that, but then they'll just pump in, you know, into they'll probably pump more development cost into their better product, but they'll still pump some of it into the product that's not doing as well.
Yeah.
But to them, they don't care because the money's all coming in under one organization. Correct. I feel like that's the same with the USA team. They're just saying, oh, men, women, they're just two different products, like, you know, speaking metaphorically. And they bring around this amount of money, I'll give half there, or whatever. Yeah. And then, but the added benefits, I think, is where, you know, that's where I think they're taking it probably a step too far. In terms of like building up the sport, I think they're not going to care about that issue.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, they're not going to care.
I think if you're a feminist, you might actually be against this because it helps one small group of women, but it's probably more damaging to a larger group of women.
Because they're not going to care because they'll just see, you know, the large stream of money coming in at the top, and that's the number they'll take. They don't care where it's coming from, what avenue. It's like, this is the bottom line, and I'll pump the money in as I see fit. But they're not going to care about, oh, well, this isn't doing as well, how do I build that up? They're like, this is doing amazing, let's just keep selling that. So
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to help build the women's sport at all. I just don't think the people above them that can actually make the difference give a shit.
It's one of the problems I have with Western feminism is that it focuses primarily or entirely on the women in the West, who, while there are problems for women in the West, are some of the richest, most privileged women on the planet and of all time.
Right.
So if you care about women's sport, you should begin by caring about women, period. So you want to be helping women all over the world get into sport, building the sport, getting into education, getting into, you know, there's places where women aren't allowed to get educated. There's all types of issues that women face. You'd have to be looking at all of those issues in order to build. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're pro-black, you're looking at black people globally, not just black people in the UK, black people in America, whatever the case may be. So that's why I think it kind of falls down. But that's just my opinion. I don't know.
I feel like they just need to get people that genuinely care about those issues into positions of power, like into the FA or into, you know, the presidents or the, you know, C-level positions of those organisations.
The cynic in me doesn't believe that there is anyone that really cares about these problems.
Well, I think when you get to that certain level, it's just pound signs, or dollar signs, or whatever you want to. Like, I just feel like at that level, it's just how do I benefit my life while I'm on this fucking spinning rock.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
I feel like that's the same reason why no one really gives a shit about global warming or like, you know, recycling and stuff. It's like, oh, well, it's not going to affect me in my life and probably not my kids, but, you know, that's it. And it's sad, but like, everyone focuses on the immediate issue, not the problem that could come, you know, 30, 40, 50 years down the line.
I agree.
So,
do you segue into our next topic? Do you like women who play sports?
Yeah, well, you're going to leave it at that. Do you like women? Yes.
The jury's been out for a while. Of, like, if you're on like a dating site or something like that, what are the top sports you want to see a girl playing, and what are the top sports you don't want to see a girl playing? Are there any sports where you see someone post a picture of them doing their sport and you think, dunno?
I think if they were a power lifter, like, I would probably be a bit...
I'm always surprised, though, by, like, how different the girls look when they're lifting the weights and they look wedge, and then when they're in their dress and heels and they look cool.
No, but I think, petite. Like, bodybuilding, I'm not against, like... I feel like there's, like, powerlifting, they're not normally...
Is that when they're stockier?
That's when they don't really give a shit about how their physique looks. They're just trying to get as strong as fuck. So
they might disagree. They don't care how their physique looks, but I get. They would
maybe, but that's me trying to
probably disagree with me.
Yeah, true. That's just me trying to. Oh, okay. I have to be careful how I word this.
No, just say it. But we'll get cancelled together. Yeah. Don't worry. Nobody's watching.
Like, okay, it seems like they don't. That's probably not a better way of wording it. Basically, they're all strapped up and they're just trying to lift as heavy as they can for that
I know
one.
what you mean, though. Yeah.
Whereas,
it's not the fitness aesthetic that you're attracted to.
Yeah, like, but even in bodybuilding, there's different. Like, you know, you have different areas that they could be competing in bikini, where they care more about sort of the hourglass physique and stuff like that. Whereas, like, you've got the other side of it where it is just how big, like, you know, abs, you know, they're fucking got performance-enhancing drugs stabbed into their ass. Like, that is something that I'd probably be like, you know what, not into that. But like, I don't think there's many sports where I would just look at their profile and be like, oh man, she's
Nah, if I
polo.
If I see a dank thing, yeah, just railing another girl in a rugby shirt, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know about this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about height. You could date a girl who's 5'4", just like when you're not horny and she's horny, but she just rugby tackles you to the bed. Do you know what I'm saying? They're just gonna be looking at your shoulders like
she starts growling in the corner.
Oh, bro, girls that play rugby, I'm not on that. I'm not on that.
Why not? But I know people that like quite like being roughed up in the bed.
What do you mean?
Like, as in like just slapped up a little bit and like.
That's cool. That's them. Let them get slapped up. What?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they just like being like dominated a little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah. So like rugby, I know it's not for you, but like.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool for them.
What? So you're just saying that girls who play rugby just tend to be a bit more.
Masculine and aggressive.
Yeah, and more dominating than you, maybe. Is that what it is?
Not more dominant than me. Yeah. Just more masculine and aggressive. But it's also not, and I know not everything that the girl does has to be attractive to me, but it's not something that I find attractive. And it isn't even something that I necessarily appreciate. I like rugby, I like men's rugby, but it's not even necessarily something that I appreciate as a sport, right? So like, so like ballet,
I don't care about rugby.
Ballet, like, you know, the girl can like fuck up her feet and all kinds of stuff like that. Like, she can, her body could be proper fucked up from doing ballet for years, but I still appreciate watching her do ballet. Like, I've watched ballet show. I quite enjoy ballet, to be fair. You know what I mean? Why is that funny? Dom's bare racist, you know. Dom thinks I'm so not cultured. Like.
Do you know what? I wasn't even laughing at ballet. Just my mind like wandered for a second. Anyway,
I did ballet for a bit.
You did ballet. Do you know what? I'm not even ballet. Like, I think it's sick.
When I was boxing.
You know, Rio Ferdinand used to do ballet.
No good fun.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, he used to do ballet, and he used to be from the hood, kind of like that. He used to be from, like, kind of like you. He had a, it doesn't matter.
Like me?
Like, you don't give a shit. Like, you were from the hood, weren't you?
You tell
That's
me.
what you always tell me, bro.
You know my life.
Nick lives a double life, man.
Tell me.
No, I don't know.
No, I did it for boxing.
I'm waiting for the autobiography.
I did it for boxing.
Yeah, because Joe, boxing's fucking hard.
You think?
No, but like,
Did you know boxing is hard?
No, but I was shocked about how, like, even my friend was just trying to teach, like, he isn't a boxer by nature, he does MMA, but he was trying to teach me.
An MMA guy was teaching you boxing?
A bit, the stand-up game.
It makes me want to vomit.
A bit about the stand-up game.
The stand-up game in MMA is not boxing.
No, I know, but he knew a bit more about boxing than I did.
I'm going to throw up. Okay, fine. He throw a punch.
Yeah.
They're totally different.
Anyway.
That's like saying, my mate taught me how to play football. And you go, did he? He goes, well, he's a kicker for his rugby team. Yeah, he taught me a bit, but they're totally fucking different. They're totally different sports.
Joy, the story doesn't matter anymore.
No, go on.
You just derailed it. You just derailed
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Basically, I was just hopping.
He thinks men's football,
men's women. Oh, we're talking about possession now. Okay, let's talk about that.
He thinks men's football and women's football is different, but MMA and boxing is the same.
No,
fuck you.
No, I wasn't. I was just trying to say
most of the MMA guys I know. I'll say this to your friend as well. Most of the MMA guys I know are terrible at throwing actual punches. The MMA is super technical, and they have to have a much broader knowledge than boxers do, but boxing is just a superior art form of just the art of throwing a punch, because it's only really one thing. It's one discipline, and I'm telling you now, if you see the technique that goes into throwing a punch in boxing versus some of the striking in MMA, it's a different level.
All I was trying to say was that I was bouncing on the balls of my feet for like 3 minutes.
Is that how you hurt your foot? Is that how you injured your foot?
No, that was just playing football. No, but I was just bouncing on the balls of my feet,
for 3 minutes.
For 3 minutes, and I was shocked at like how
hard it is.
How hard it is, and boxers do that for like 12 rounds correct? Yeah, and
it used to be 15 back in the day.
And you think like, 3 minutes a round, that's easy. But when you're actually trying to defend and throw punches that will hurt the opponent, fucking hell! Like I was just hopping, basically trying to get my footwork right.
The two most physically grueling sports I've ever competed in are boxing and tennis. Tennis is unbelievably difficult.
I used to be sick at tennis.
It's so bad. Yeah. It's so difficult. I was so bad at it. I enjoy it, but I'm not good at it. Yeah. But boxing, and they're both sports that you don't. I guess it's the same for football, but it's a bit different. But you don't control your exertion. Yeah. Your opponent controls it. Yeah. So as much as, like you said, just you might just want to be bouncing on your feet with your guard up, but your opponent is going to put enough pressure on you to make you do stuff you don't really want to do. So yeah, but I love boxing. But yeah, ballet helped me with my boxing a lot. Boxing fucked up my posture and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. They taught me some stretches. And
so basically, coming back to your original question, if a woman played rugby on her dating profile, you would swipe left.
I wouldn't swipe for her. I don't know the
Even
way.
if she was a 10 out of 10?
I have yet to see a 10 out of 10 play rugby.
Okay, alright. Come on. Humour me a little bit. Hypothetical.
I think it'd be tough. Like, if we're talking about like dating and a relationship, I would struggle to go and stand in the rugby stands and cheer on my girl while she's playing rugby.
Wouldn't care. Like, I would just not enjoy the sport. Do you know what I mean?
I would struggle. So you might don't be valuing your girls.
No, I value. No,
you might don't be support. You don't be supporting your girl.
No,
anyway.
I'll be there. I'll hold the sign up. Be like, woo! But like in terms of, I just wouldn't enjoy it. That would be like the worst.
I can't go watch my girl play rugby. That's crazy. That's a mad thing. I'll do it on my Saturday, watching my girl play rugby. That's mad, bruv.
Yeah, tend to her wounds.
That's crazy. The more I'm thinking about it, that's mad, bruv. That's man's not on that. I'd rather watch my girl box.
Alright, but is there any other sports that you'd be? Even boxing though, would you not be scared when she goes into a fight that she's just going to get tucked up?
Not if I train her properly, she shouldn't get hit. There's a couple good looking girls in boxing. She's trained properly, she shouldn't get hit.
And if she does?
She's short. Do you know what I mean? She's short, blood. Do you know what I mean? She deserves it, bro. She's got to move your head. Hit and don't get hit.
So rugby only.
I think some of the powerlifting, like you said, it depends on the aesthetic, but some of the powerlifting stuff, like some of the gym girls I just find obnoxious. Like some of the girls that post pictures of themselves in the gym on dating apps just annoy me. Because they're so obnoxious, like.
Yeah, but some of them look like they've just gone to the gym just to take the picture.
Nah, but like it's not that. It's like the mentality. Like, okay, so my ex, you know who you are, innit? Yeah, my ex. When I got with her, she got quite chubby and quite overweight, innit? Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're going there, are you?
She did.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't care, innit? Man was beaten either way, but it made no difference to me. Mm-hmm. So she started going gym. I always went gym my whole life. I boxed, played football. I was always in the gym working out. She started going gym, and like a couple years later, she's in mad shape going gym. So I saw her. She goes, "Oh, how you doing? You still going gym in that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I go like a couple times a week. I mean, I'm kind of casual." And she was like, "Oh, you're one of those people." I was like, "What do you mean I'm one of those? But what the fuck does that mean?" And she was like, so obnoxious. She was like, "Well, for me, gym is a lifestyle. Either you go," and I was like, "You were fat a year ago. Like this, like just
people can change, bro.
Shut the fuck up, like, bro. It's like, do you not find that obnoxious? Like, how jarring? Like, what's the?
But that just, I think that's just like her being condescending, like.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
and it came under the guise.
Lots of gym girls I know are like that. It's like they're like, "Do you work out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I go gym a bit." And they're like, "Oh, what's your split?" I'm like, "I was sitting here talking about my split with you. Just relax. Like, what's wrong with you?" I don't know. Like,
I kind of get what you mean, but I just feel like that could be like any topic that they just feel like they're superior in or whatever. Like,
I'm the wrong nigga to act superior to. Like, you don't act superior to me. It's gonna go bad. Don't do that.
Yeah, but okay. For me, I think the powerlifting is pretty much the only. I like rugby. I know you make a pretty good case for it. I'm not gonna lie.
Watching your girl play rugby on a Saturday is bad.
I'll just make sure my football games are at the same time.
You don't even come to football.
I'll make up a team. I'll make up a team.
You're retired. You're retired early, bro.
Yeah,
fucking Dominic Redknapp, bro. Retired at 28 as a joker.
Yeah, I should be a commentator now.
Real talk, bro.
Michael Richards' career or something.
To be fair, I mean, speaking of dating apps, they say there's a study out that says that in the next 10-15 years, 50% of women going into middle age, sort of 35 plus, beyond childbearing age, I would say, are going to be single, and they mainly attribute that down to women raising the standards of what they'd accept in men. Go
50%.
50%.
That's quite a high number. Do you know what?
As I'm saying, I don't mind because I think humans are the scourge of the earth, and the quicker that we're all off this planet, the better. That's just me. I can't stand human beings personally. Yeah, they're my least favorite animal.
That doesn't. I mean, the number kind of surprised me that it's high, but it doesn't surprise me in terms of like the landscape of like the world that we live in today. Like I see so many people, like, you know how a lot of people talk about how marriages used to last such a long time, or even maybe we're coming to the end of the era where marriages have lasted 60 years, whatever, and their grandparents are together happily, blah blah blah. Whereas like I don't think that happens as much. This like divorce is a lot more common, and I think it all stems to having visibility of.
That's not true.
It's not true. Or divorce being a higher rate now than
divorce rate's been falling for the last 10 years.
It's been falling. Yeah, that's because people aren't getting married in the first place.
I agree.
They're just breaking up.
I agree.
But okay, but my point is
just because people always say that. People go, 50% of marriages end in divorce. It's not true.
Okay. Right. Anyway, okay. Even if it's not divorces, I feel like relationships in general are not lasting as long, and I think it's just purely because we have so much visibility over other options in the world. In terms of, you might be dating someone who's perfectly good for you, but in terms of like, they make you laugh, they tick a lot of boxes that you have, they're good looking, but then you swipe around on Instagram or whatever and you see some guy or some girl that you find super attractive, and you're like, but I want a piece of that. So now suddenly the person that you're with feels a bit more unappealing, so that when things start to go wrong, I feel like you're less inclined. You're like, why the fuck am I putting myself through this like heartache, torture, or whatever, or this pain of dealing with this argument or whatever, when I could just up and leave and find someone else? Especially, see, look, he fucking agrees with me.
I don't. Oh, no, right. Man, tooting his horn, bro.
Yeah, like I just feel like, especially with women, I feel like they have so many options available to them. Especially
they don't.
You say that, but then if you just swipe on their fucking Tinder profiles or Hinge profiles, they'll have that
define options. They have options for dick, not necessarily options for dating or marriage.
Right, but they have, like, as you were saying earlier about statistics, having more people with, like, more, not skin in the game, but, like, if there's more men to go on dates with, arguably they're going to find someone to be in a decent relationship with.
No, not necessarily. The thing is, the thing is, like, you are getting roped into how women view the world, and women view the world wrong. Yeah. So, do you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to say that.
They do.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? Like, that's just you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But it's like, bro, the reality of the situation. First of all, that mentality that you're describing is very common in our society, but that's a bum's mentality. Like, do you know what I mean? Just because it's common doesn't mean that it's not a bum's mentality. Yeah. If you're with someone. I've only ever had 2 relationships in my life. There's only ever been 2 women that in my life that I could spend more than 2 or 3 days with and not want to kill them. And even then, yeah. So, do you know what I mean? So if you meet someone, for me personally, that I could meet someone that post not even post 3rd round beat. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Where it's starting to sting.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like I'm fully like juiced out, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like. Fully after that I still want to sit down and have a conversation with you. That, for me, is very rare. There's mad titties in the world. There's fresh things turning 21 every day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it from a sexual perspective, but not necessarily from a I want to sit down and have a conversation with you perspective. Do you know what I'm saying? We spoke earlier about having platonic female friends. I've only had a few really close platonic female friends. Shout out Natalie's one of my best friends. And she's been one of my best friends for years.
She's never told me about her.
She's a very attractive. We actually didn't talk for years, but that's the thing I told you about Fernando's the other day. Whatever. Yeah. She's very attractive. I think she's engaged. Greek, beautiful. I've never looked at her and thought I want to have sex with you. Do you know what I mean? And she's described me to her friends, been like, "Oh, my friend Nick, he's attractive, he's funny." But she's probably never looked at me and thought I want to have sex with that guy. Do you know what I mean? We're just friends. We can have a rational conversation. I chat to her like I chat to you lot. I don't change how I talk. I'll be chatting to her and see a gal walk past and be like, "Yo, what?" Do you know what I mean? Like, it's cool, but I get it from it. All the stuff that you were describing on Instagram and all the rest of it, that's not love. That's not a relationship. That's just sexual.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you have to be able to separate the two. They're 2 totally different things. So this is where women think that they've got mad options, and they can go and get mad options, but they might break up with you. And then they're going to go and get endless dick, and as a man, you don't like that thought, and you want your dick to be king dick, because we're men and that's how we are. But the reality is, most of these things are miserable. Most of these things are miserable, bruv.
Yeah, but...
Do you know about the gal I've spoken to that's got boyfriends?
No, probably a lot of them.
They're miserable. Yeah. 50% of the things I smash got boyfriends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, we live such different lives.
And but they are miserable.
I hear the word boyfriend, I'm like, cool.
These girls, like, they don't want to date me. They don't want to marry me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? They want do you know what it is? So, I spoke to someone the other day, and I was saying, women and men's lives are totally different. Totally different. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Like, with women, I know loads of women that's been in abusive relationships and all types of different stuff. I'm not victim blaming and saying it's their fault, but a lot of women just gas each other and support each other endlessly.
Yeah.
Endlessly. Whereas men are on the complete
toxic positivity,
all the way positive.
Yeah, no matter, even if they don't believe it, they'll still say it. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, if their friend's overweight, they will not tell them they're overweight.
Send the fire
they
emojis.
won't send nothing.
You look beautiful. Yeah.
They're horrible people. They're the worst people in the world. Men are also terrible people because we're on the opposite side of the spectrum. So if you post something in the group like, yo, look at this girl I'm trying to DM, man will be like, you ain't never getting that gal, bro. You're a bum, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Bro, like, man are just going to grill you to the nth degree. Do you know what I'm saying? But because of that, we have maybe an under-inflated ego, a lot of men. When you meet a lot of men with overinflated egos, either they are very successful, very handsome, or lying to themselves. But women have a massively overinflated sense of ego. So they think they're super entitled to this, super entitled to that.
I think we're overgeneralizing because I feel like...
Yeah, of course. I'm talking about just generally speaking. Do you know what I mean? But even if I've got cousins or whatever that chop and change boyfriends all the time, or I've got girls in my life that have been through from abusive guy to abusive guy to abusive guy, and the women that are their friends and family members will not say anything.
Why do you think it is then that 50% of women sort of post the age of 35, you said, will end up being single? Because from speaking to a lot of girls, they seem to get a lot of pressure from their families when they reach the age of sort of like 26, 27, 28.
Because they're coming to the end of childbearing.
Well, that's what I mean. So if they start being like, they've got that ticking clock, obviously, and their parents are kind of like, you're going to start to knuckle down. And I feel like, perhaps they're just getting into relationships for the sake of, I need to have a kid soon, rather than for the right reasons.
Correct.
So that could potentially be a reason for it.
I think that's one of the reasons. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. I think that women also, because there isn't a balance, like I said, men are super, super negative, women are super, super positive in terms of their friendship groups, generally speaking. Yeah. So because there's no balance on either side, like, I can't remember where I was going at this point. There's
no balance either side.
Thanks.
Women super positive.
That's very helpful. Thank you so much.
I'm just trying to rejig your memory a little bit. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I was going to say. There's a positive. I did it all on my own. There's a positive side to women increasing the standards of what they want to date. Right? People go super gassed on like, oh, in the 20s and the 30s, there was so much abusive relationships, so much cheating, so much this, so much that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't be a victim, you could be a victim of rape in a marriage and it wouldn't be classed as rape in this country. That was legal. It was legal to rape your wife for many, many years. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, but it wasn't illegal. So we romanticize how relationships...
I'm joking.
That's Dom, That's Dom. That's not me. Man are going to look at me. That's Dom,
It's his influence on my life. I was never like this before.
Cool. You know what I mean? But like, so we romanticize these old relationships. God, it was all really sweet, and we don't know that it was that sweet. There was a lot of fucked up, bad stuff happening. We know, do you know what I mean? So up in the standards of what they will accept from a mental, emotional perspective, I understand that and I'm on board with that. Yeah. But then they also up their standards from like a materialistic perspective. Yeah. And that doesn't, the two things don't necessarily correlate. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then also what happens when these women rush, if they get to 26, 27, 28, like you say, and they want kids or they want this or they've got pressure or whatever, they'll rush into a relationship and they'll rush into a relationship with the wrong person. And then, do you know what I'm saying? And then it's done out from there.
Yeah. You know what you were saying about like how they remember like the relationships of like the sweet things that happen, blah, blah, and they'd sort of blow it up to be really positive. I just think that's a general, like, if you think back to your relationships, like, I tend to remember, even no matter how shit at the time it was, like when things were going bad, I won't tend to remember those times. I'll tend to look at like pictures and stuff and think of like the highlight reels.
It's called nostalgia.
Yeah, like I just feel like, I just think that that's a natural reaction to most of like, I just think that's the human brain is just kind of like,
it depends on your heritage, right? So for us, we come from slavery, so we didn't look back at the past and go, oh man.
But it taught you to be good. Like,
what a great time it was. Damn, shucks, I missed it. Damn it, Grandma. Depends, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, okay.
It depends.
Maybe
do you know what I mean? But like, I don't know, like. Both my exes are assholes. No, I'm joking. They're amazing people, and they're assholes at the same time. They're both.
Yeah. But when you think back to your relationship, do you think of them in a positive? Like, do you tend
Depends
to
on my mood. If I'm horny, I think about her titties. I think, oh man, the titties. Oh man, they're so fluffy. They're like little clouds, little meat clouds. Do you know what I mean? But if I'm in a bad mood, I'm like.
Now I know where the film title "Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs" came. If Nick was getting horny when he said that, I do it.
If sometimes, do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like, do you know what I mean? It's like my friend was murdered, yeah, and I'm like, oh, who can I talk to about this? This is something I could talk to her about. But then other times there might be something like, there's certain things I can chat to you about where I can chat to her about it because she'll just kick off. Yeah. Like if it's like feminist type stuff, so it just depends. It's pros and cons of both.
I don't know. For me, I feel like I tend to always focus on the positives, but then I feel like just naturally my personality is kind of like the fixer-upper side. I look at the good side of things and never tend to. Like,
I'm normally quite balanced. I know I'm a bit mad, but I'm normally like, do you know what I mean? But like I say, it's nostalgia. And when you think of the word nostalgia, do you think good things or bad things?
You think it just makes your head go in the clouds a little bit.
Right, you think positive things, right? But you know what? Nostalgia comes from a German word, and the original meaning of the word is pain. So nostalgia actually means painful memories.
Yeah.
But over years, it's been changed to mean positive things. So people now look back of like a romanticized nostalgia when the original meaning of the word wasn't romantic at all. Yeah. It was meant to be painful memories. Do you know what I mean?
That's just characteristic of our society now, though.
100%.
Like, fucking, you type anything on Twitter, you'll piss off someone.
100%.
Like, so now everybody's all about positivity and good vibes.
It's not realistic. Some of the stuff that women expect from men is not realistic. It just it isn't. So obviously, you know that guy Kevin Samuels that was like a YouTuber. He used to like dating YouTube.
I feel like I've heard his.
I think I showed you stuff. But anyway, he used to do this thing where he used to ask girls like,
just because I needed so much help with dating, and Nick sent me YouTube channels and the like. Do you know what I mean?
No, but he used to do this thing where he'd ask women like, where do you want to live? What kind of lifestyle do you want? Blah 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 blah. And it's an interesting test. And I've done this with a couple of women in my life that like, I'm talking like family members and stuff like that, right? So not girls that I've been dating necessarily. And been like, cool, how many kids do you want? What kind of area do you want to live in? What kind of car would you like to drive? Blah, blah, blah. And I've gone to the least materialistic women in my family. The least materialistic. And they've given me an area they want to live in. They've given me the kind of house and the number of kids and the kind of car and whatever. And we've done the calculations. Do they want to travel? You know, all this different stuff.
Yeah.
And we've looked at it and I've gone, you said you're not materialistic. No. You're not interested in money. No. You've described about a £350,000 a year lifestyle.
Even the ones that were like...
The ones that say, I'm not materialistic. They don't realise they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because when they dream, they don't dream... Every time a man has a dream, he wakes up and the world slaps him back down to reality. Whereas with a lot of the women I know, when they dream, they wake up and the world is like, how was your dream? How was it? Let's go and get this dream. It's not like... So they set themselves up for failure. With all this overly positive stuff, a lot of these people are going to struggle mentally later on because... they're going to come to realise that a lot of these dreams are not going to happen. Yeah, but
I find it hard though, because when you're talking about a dream, like you're meant to.
No, but I'm not saying tell me your dream life. I said to them, tell me realistically, right? For you to get married, I'm not saying tell me your dream life.
Yeah, but then
being a millionaire, but like really, but I'm saying you would, with you, right? You know the car that you drive right now.
Yeah.
Have you got an idea of what your next car is?
I haven't even thought that far ahead, to be honest.
Thank you.
Like I actually haven't.
There you go. And if you think that far ahead, I bet it wouldn't be something like a Tesla or something. There would probably be like a car that's like a bit of a level up from your car.
Yeah.
And then there'll be another level up from that, and then the Tesla.
Do you know what?
Do you know what I mean? Like you think in stages. Yeah. Whereas a lot of the women that I know just leap.
Yeah.
They take huge, massive leaps. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily go in stages.
Yeah. I mean, a few years ago, I did dream about getting a Tesla, you know. I wouldn't mind a Tesla.
I can see you in a Tesla. I can see you.
I was thinking that was like future.
See, that's what I mean.
I wasn't like, oh yeah, in 3 years I'll have a Tesla. I was like, oh, maybe when I'm like 40 something or 50, I'll have a Tesla.
That's exactly what I mean.
So like, yeah, I do get what you mean. But then how would you have felt if you asked her like, you know, what's your realistic lifestyle? She turned around and she was like, council house, you know, 7 kids, and like, would that...
First of all, very disrespectful to women in my family. Second,
I've never met them. I'm so sorry.
I'm joking. No, but the thing is, you control your own life to a certain degree.
I'm never going to be able to meet them now. Oh no, I can't.
It's great. They'll bully the shit out of you. But it's you have to be realistic. Do you know what I mean? And you can look at your life where you are right now. For example, like if I show you that body, and I say, right, Dom, you're my PT. I want that in 6 months.
Yeah.
What would you say to me?
I would say that's not possible.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. Mate.
That's the body of a guy
that's
got like
5-10 years.
Yeah,
minimum.
he's got like a 6 or 8 pack, huge fucking chest, legs are massive. So I'm just because they can't see it in it. But, yeah. Fucking huge guy who's I think he's probably taking something as well.
He could be, definitely. I'll follow him in it. I'll show you.
Yeah, I get your point.
Do you know what I mean?
Not 6 months
whereas when a lot of the women that I know say stuff, nobody around them, and I don't know how much
nobody tells them like.
But I don't know how much some of the women that they're around genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know how much that's an element of like they don't know that it's unrealistic to then tell them that's probably not realistic. Do you know what I mean? But so when I say like some of the stuff they want is not realistic, I'm talking about the money. I'm talking about so every time Kevin Samuels used to do his videos, the women would all say roughly the same thing, right? I want this, I want that, blah blah. And so he would say that's like a 350, 400 grand. What you've described. Let's say the girl says, I want to live in Richmond. I want 3 kids. I want a 4-bedroom house, semi-detached, 2 cars, blah blah blah. So you're looking at it again. That's 4-bedroom, semi-detached house in Richmond is like £4 million. Blah blah blah. So you need to meet a guy who's making
a shit ton of money, or you need to make it yourself.
700,000. Well, he used to say I wouldn't ask this, but because he's American and he's Christian, he used to ask what percentage of household bills do you want to be responsible for, and a lot of them would say none. And I was really surprised by that. But they're black and American and really Christians. So they're different. But it's like you have to find a man who makes £800,000 to live that kind of lifestyle. Yeah. And then he would say, how many men do you know who make £800,000? And they would go, oh, I'm around these men all the time. They're really successful. And he would go, who? What do they do? And they would be like, oh, they do engineering. They do tech support. And he'd be like, that's not true. They do not make that kind of... They do not make anywhere near... They're bullshitting. Yeah. They've talked themselves into a corner and then they're going to lie. And then they go, oh, well... You know, I've got rappers in my DMs, and he goes, okay, cool. That rapper's in 100 women's DMs. Assuming he's going to marry one, he has to pick one.
And it has to be a decent rapper as well.
Yeah, of course, exactly, for sure. The rappers aren't in their DMs. But I'm just saying, it's not realistic. And then when he says, there's not that many of these men, right? I've spoken to hundreds of women. There's only 20 houses up on the hill. Hundreds of women want these 20 houses, and they all say, well, it's going to be me. They all say that.
Yeah. It's only,
so 780 of you are going to be... And that's where, if they go and get with a guy who can't afford that, they're then looking at him going, ugh.
Yeah, it's just kind of... it's just not my idea.
You're not really...
I can't live what I want to live.
A lot of these girls look at their men like, you're holding me back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I could be doing the mad thing, but you're holding me back.
Yeah.
So that's where the relation... That's what I mean when I say not realistic.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't have anything to add to that. I feel like
it's not my problem, though, is it? Segueing off the back of that, when you tell people that they're not realistic, people generally, not just women. I happen to date women, so I'm talking about women. But if you tell people they're not realistic, they might ban you from dating sites.
I feel like that was digging you deep. Have you been banned from a dating site before?
I've been banned from Tinder about 7 times.
Really?
Basically, every time I match with someone and we basically. If you disagree with a woman about anything, they'll report you. They'll not just unmatch you, they'll report you.
Yeah, but I feel like, why are you getting into disagreements? Like, you're starting off on the wrong foot, surely.
I'm not in control of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I say...
I was going to say, don't take dating advice from me. Like, no, but it's like...
I don't know, like, if I don't know, what kind of stuff have we disagreed about? If I match with someone who's a Spurs fan, I'm obviously going to be like...
But you'd see that in the profile.
Not necessarily. Who advertises that they're a Spurs fan apart from
Some of them might. Some of them might wear. Some of them might wear. Some of them easy. But yeah, some of them might have like the top on or something. Do you know what I mean?
Always talk about the ones that don't.
Yeah, of course. Mate, I never get into disagreements with girls on there, really. I'm trying to...
You spend most of your life saying, yes, please.
I'm just trying to get a response from them most of the time, do you know what I mean?
Don't bother, mate.
Literally, I'm looking around on, like, fucking Google for, like, starting lines or whatever to say.
Yeah.
But, no, I've never been banned from any of them. I've only tried 2, first of all. I've tried Tinder and Hinge.
Okay.
I haven't tried any others.
Yeah.
There's...
Bumble.
I've never tried it, but that's supposed to be where they talk to you first, isn't it?
Bumble's got elite women because they talk to you first, but it's like...
But do they actually talk to you first, or they just send you a hi, or like... Because I feel like there's a double standard
They will, but getting a match will be very hard.
Oh really?
Yeah,
you don't get any matches?
Because I don't get as many as the others, like, because the girls on Bumble are typically elite. Like, a lot of them are dank, and they're like, so many that I see are like private investment bankers, lawyers, like they work in the city. They're like elite girls.
So would they go for someone who's unemployed?
Anyway, it depends. You got a brand. You got a brand as entrepreneur. Brand as entrepreneur is calm.
So I've only used Tinder and Hinge, and Hinge I've had only a couple of dates from. Tinder I've had more dates from.
Yeah.
But Tinder's also like I had probably one of my worst dates from Tinder. I've not been banned from it, but it's just one. Like it was back from uni days. Okay, so it's quite a while ago. But
that was the last date.
No.
I've been a date in 5 years.
10 years later. You know what I mean? Nah, but it was back from uni days, and she also went to the same uni as me. We were just talking on there.
Where did you go?
Southampton.
Did you move down there?
I was living in. The thing is, I didn't finish uni. I only lasted 6 months, and then I dropped out.
Got you.
But yeah, I was just, the first few months living the party lifestyle. I matched with someone from Tinder on there. We were chatting for a bit, and she used to play football professionally, right? Or semi-professionally for Norwich at the time. Yeah, she had pictures of her.
Oh, no, it's good. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, well, she didn't tell you how long ago those pictures were taken, though. That was the. Anyway, so we decided to meet up. We were going to Turtle Bay in Southampton, and I've walked there on my. It's what common like white girl.
It's just exactly. Yeah, you know already.
I just knew straight away.
It's Caribbean run by white. I fucking hate it.
I knew you'd hate as soon as it touches the Caribbean heritage.
When I was with my first girlfriend, we went to her family wedding, and I met her cousin. And her cousin was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Caribbean." She's like, "Oh, I love Caribbean food." Yeah. I went to my ex was like, "My ex goes, please don't say it." She literally verbally said, "Please don't say it." And then her cousin, "I went to Turtle Bay," and I was like.
Yeah, then the rage is just filling up inside of you. Yeah.
Anyway,
so we went to Turtle Bay. I'm on my own, okay? And I'm expecting this girl to be on her own, okay? That was not the case.
Wait, what? She's with a +1?
No, she had +5, bro. She had her whole girl group. So I've walked in, yeah. First of all, First of all, I didn't fucking recognise her because she didn't look like her pictures, okay? So I've been catfished, right?
Wait. In what way did she not look like her pictures?
She was bigger, alright? I'll just say it like that. She was not, she played football 3 years ago from when this picture was taken.
Fucking, she had an ACL injury or something.
So she was no longer playing semi-pro professional football. She gave that up, quite clearly. And
it gave her right.
Anyway, so I've gone in and I'm looking into the corner. I'm like, I think that's her. And then I was like, but she's with all her brethren. Like, literally. So I walked over,
I wish I knew you at this time. Oh my days.
So anyway, so I've walked in.
This isn't a date then?
No, it turns into a date eventually, but anyway, I sat down on the table and I've had to say, I'm already shitting myself. I haven't had many dating experiences at this point. I had one relationship at the time that lasted 3 years prior to that, and after that, didn't really have any dates or anything like that. So I was only 19 as well, or 20. So I've turned out, gone over to the table, which has taken me enough balls already. I haven't drunk anything, so I've got no liquid courage in me, nothing, right? And I've come up to the table, said hello to them, and then they're all responding back to me, and I feel like they said, "Oh, you're gonna get a drink," and I was like, "Yeah," and then I went to get the drink, sat down, and it was like an interview. They were all of them asking me questions, and I was like. What? It felt like I was having a date with 5 or 6 people. And then
Have you ever seen Millionaire Matchmaker?
No.
Have you not seen that? Oh, it's like she gets a millionaire guy and gets finds girls at his type, and she gets 20 of them and have a mixer. So it's 20 girls and this one guy. That's what it sounds like.
Anyway, afterwards, once I chatted to them for a little while, eventually me and the girl I was supposed to be dating go off afterwards. So we left Turtle Bay and we went out afterwards. But prior to that, it felt like I think I even asked her about it, and I was just like, "What?"
What did she say?
She was just saying they were kind of they didn't know if I was going to turn up with anyone, even though that was never insinuated in any of our messages.
Were any of her friends hot?
Not that I didn't. To be honest, I was so fucking
bamboozled.
Yeah, bamboozled by the situation that I was just
I'd have been confused as well.
Yeah, I just got there. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, you don't look like my date, but you are my date, and I've got fucking 5 girls asking me questions, making sure that I'm not.
If I turned up in that situation, and she had a bridge in Dankin and she was, but I would have been like, where? Quick sub. Let's you know what I mean? Let's roll off subs, blood.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you know, so, oh mate, another time, like it wasn't a date, but it was at a club in Southampton. And I remember I was talking to a girl, and I'm the kind of guy, I'm the dickhead that will go and buy her a drink, yeah? So I was like talking to her for a bit, and I was like, oh, do you want me to get you a drink? She's like, oh, yeah. She comes over to the thing, I'm like, oh, what do you want? And she's like, oh, well, I'll have, and then my friends will have. And I was like, what? And she was trying to get me to buy her and her friends drinks. I can't stand that. And I was just like, fuck off. I was like, no.
Date?
No, it wasn't a date. It was just like, I saw her at the club, started chatting to her, and then I offered her a drink, and then she tried to get me. She basically was humouring me to get me to buy her and her friends all a drink.
It's man a dickhead, bro.
Fucking, it was honestly. But yeah, that day was kind of mad. That's the only, like, I'd say that's probably like my worst dating experience, was just being fucking swamped by like 5 or 6 women, like out of the blue, do you know what I mean? Like, and interviewed on the spot. So I didn't know what I was getting myself.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I know it is. I know it fucking is.
So strange.
I think that's what's put me off dating. Bro, I don't know if people are going to come up with like more than one person, if they're going to be a man, woman, I don't know. That's why dating online like actually scares me. Like people can make out like there's something that they're not.
It scares you dating in real life as well. Yeah. So it's like you're a bit stuck,
so
bro.
I'm fucking stuck, innit? I'll be one of those people in that statistic who stays single after 35,
You're
bro.
not a fucking woman, you idiot.
Yeah, well, just need a sex change and then I'm halfway there.
You're gonna have to get a robot girlfriend or something.
Yeah, probably. Fucking.
What issues do you come across? Like, what's the issue with women for you?
I don't know if it's so much an issue with it. Do you know what? I don't know if it's me being insecure or not. But like, I was going to say, like, I just felt like prior to me shaving my head fully, I felt like I got a lot more attention. I put it to that, but it probably isn't that. Maybe it's just like a lack of confidence.
I think you going gym will help, because I think like there's a set aesthetic of the guys that's bald but quite wham, the Jason Statham aesthetic, and a lot of girls like that. Like, if you're bald and you're not really in shape, I think it could be quite a lot worse. Yeah. You were never in bad shape. I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but
I think it would be different levels when
that might. Yeah, but that might be a few years off still. Do you know what I mean? That's
nah, man, you'll be calm. Bro.
Yeah, but
they can see like the construction of it. Do you know
yeah, the building. Blocks.
Yeah. You've got scaffolding up.
But I don't think there's necessarily an issue with. Sometimes I feel like the only issue I had actually is probably the fact that like they expect you to sort of wow them or woo them. Like, I feel like they've got so many, well, that's my experience anyway. I feel like they have so many people in their DMs or like so many matches that like you have to be the guy that kind of comes in with some witty line or something that like captures their attention, and then you have to like hold it because, you know, she's probably chatting like 5 or 6 other guys. She probably doesn't have the attention span to keep that conversation. I just feel like they have like, you know, it's not an even sort of street in terms of like their expectations are he's got to make me laugh, he's got to do this, and I'm like, what about me? I'm not a fucking comedian. Like, what about you? Like, you got to make me laugh as well. Like, do you know what I mean? We got to enjoy this time together.
The thing is, I get, again, this is what I'm saying. Like, they get too much attention. So if you are a guy who is, if you're like an Andrew Tate or a Mike Thurston or something like that, right? You're like roughly 30. You're in good shape. You're a multi-millionaire. You're a good-looking guy, etc., etc., etc. That's very, very rare.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So from that position, when you come to the negotiation from position of strength, you're more the prize than the girl.
Yeah.
If the only thing you've got going for you is that you're young and attractive, I can go around the world and there are thousands of these people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you are on the standard marketplace dating, then the woman is the prize. But if you move to a more elite, this is why it's so important for men to upgrade themselves, because the more they upgrade themselves, the rarer they become.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I'm the prize. If you don't want to date me, bye.
Yeah, I know. But then it's like, why?
For the average guy, speak.
Yeah, but why do I have to kind of like, it's
do
like,
stuff.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, why do I have to put on my profile, you know, drives a Bugatti or something? Do you know what I mean? Like, just make it out. Obviously, I don't.
What colour is your
Yeah. No, like, why do I have to like highlight my wealth and stature and stuff like that for them to have any interest in?
But by that point, you wouldn't do it in that way, right? So you wouldn't be on dating apps. You would just be at the clubs and bars where the average guys aren't.
True.
Do you know what I mean? You would just be there. The key thing is being in that environment. Do you know what I mean? To me, if you're like a super hot girl, it's a red flag if you're on a dating app, period. Do you know what I'm saying? Because according to you, I can jump in my DMs and get a date. So why are you here then?
Yeah. True. I mean, most of the fucking...
Apart from inflating your ego and massaging your insecurities, why are you here?
Some of them just want followers. Like, they'll literally just advertise their other social media on there.
Fucking brain dead idiots.
Yeah. But anyway, coming back to you, have you got any like weird dating experiences?
I don't go on that many dates. Like, I just end up arguing with girls. Like, the thing is, bro. Honestly, because so many guys do, like, not attacking you, but like, because so many guys do, because so many guys because so many guys are in your position where they're trying to like have a bit of an echo chamber for these girls and just say like anything that makes them feel happy. Or the last girl I spoke to from a dating app, some girl called Lowry, some redhead girl.
Okay, you're gonna name her, fair enough. Name and shame, fine.
It's not even a name and shame thing. It's what happens.
Yeah.
If you don't act in a way that you're going to be ashamed of people talking about, then you'll be fine. I don't understand. So we spoke on the phone once.
Okay.
And she said a few things that are weird. So she was talking about like her ex.
Okay.
And she kept banging on about how beautiful he was. She was like, he's so beautiful. He's like tall and handsome and blah blah blah. So I was like, and me, I'm cool, innit? Like, I'm not an insecure guy. I was just like, it kind of sounds like you quite like this guy still, like, because you're laying it on a bit thick. Do you know what I mean? And she kept talking about how she'd been in, difficult relationships, and he was cool at first, but he was really controlling and abusive, whatever. Right. So okay, I'm a human. I start to garner some sympathy for her.
Okay.
Then she says, "I'm not gonna lie, I've got a thing for men who are a bit." She said to me, "You seem like you've got yourself quite together." I was like, well, reasonably, not a lot, not perfect, but like, I'm okay. And she was like, oh, I don't know, I kind of have a thing for men who are like a bit emotionally damaged. Right. So I was like, okay, well now my empathy's going down again because you are welcoming this onto your, and I can't help, if I think something, I can't help saying it to you. I could not say it to her, say to her, oh yeah, my childhood, and then bang her fucking brains out. But I can't be bothered. Like, do you know what I mean? So I was like to her, that's fucking stupid. Because you can't complain. This doesn't make any sense. She's expecting
some sort of sympathy to come out of your mouth.
Sympathy my fucking backside, man. What do you mean? This ain't Samaritans. What the fuck am I giving you sympathy for? You bought this on yourself, right? So I was like, does that you're complaining about the results that you're getting, but you are specifically seeking out people that are damaged. So this is likely to happen.
And she's doing it consciously. Well. That's the thing that's like really... Like, sometimes you have a little bit of a subconscious, like, oh, you know what? Yeah. People that I tend to pull are the bad boys, or, whatever. But she sounds to just be like, oh, you know what? You don't...
Yeah, you're not fucked up in your life. You
go stab someone, or, like, do you know what I mean?
Ridiculous, right? So I was like, okay, cool. So then she spent most of the conversation talking about the things that she liked about guys and things she didn't like about guys, etc., etc. And obviously, some of those things are relevant to me, some of them aren't relevant to me, and that's fine. Totally normal. This is what the initial conversation is meant to be. So she mentioned that she had a kid, and on her Hinge profile, it didn't say that she had a kid. So I said to her, I wouldn't normally date somebody with a kid, unless the person was like really, really special. But, for the way my life is set up, I live in a small flat, I like to travel a lot, I'm building my business. I gave fair reasons as to why. It wasn't just, you got a kid, you're a low value woman. It wasn't any of that shit. It was just like, I'm giving actual reasons why it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, her kid's like 6, so I would have missed all of the child rearing and just jumped straight into, do you know what I mean? Talking back and slapping the shit out of this kid.
Yeah, so, he's in like year 2 or 3.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, it's all fucked. So anyway, that's all I said. I was polite and whatever. So, left the phone conversation. I woke up in the morning, some long essay from this bitch talking about, I didn't like the way that you made it sound like me and my kid were a burden and blah, 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 blah. And all this, some next shit. I was like, bro, so I have a voice note today. I was like, listen, first of all, I'm blocking and deleting you after this voice note, innit, So there's no point replying because this conversation's finished. But you're a fucking weirdo, right? That's not what I said. And you're probably gonna go and tell your brethren some made up version of this story. But I'm sending this voice note to you so that there can be no equivocations and no lost in translation. That's not what I said. You are hearing what you want to hear, and you will likely end up in another abusive relationship with another abusive man because of your taste in men. And that's nothing to do with me. Do you know what I'm saying? If you wanted someone that was quite mentally and emotionally secure and settled and whatever, then that's fine. If you want to go and get punched up by various men and that turns you on, then that's fine as well. But at the end of the day, for you to be consciously seeking out dangerous and abusive men when you have a child and bringing them around your child, I think that's a bit mad. But at the end of the day, if I'm totally, completely, openly honest, I don't care about you and your child. Yeah. You're not my problem. Take care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Classic Nick way to end the call.
I don't care.
Lock the league.
I'm saying it because it's on my head and I want to say it to get it out. But I don't care about you. Like I've never met you before. We just spoke on the phone. So I was
don't have any sort of like
no emotional connection to you.
Yeah.
I mean, if I find out that something happened to her,
I would love to
fucking swipe the next newspaper page. That's not my business.
I'd just love to like understand the psychology of these women that are like search for these.
I would hate to understand the psychology of these women.
You're not curious.
I would never. Women like this, I would never want to look in their brain ever.
Really?
It would turn you insane. It'd be like seeing into the Matrix. I would rather not know.
But I just want to know if there's actually a viable reason for it, or if it's just like a weird kink.
It's probably both. It's obvious, bro. It's probably a mixture of both. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, cool. The thing is, like, sexual foreplay starts from the beginning of the day. Do you know what I mean? So from the guy wakes up and he's in a bad mood and he's smashing around pots and pans, she's probably already getting wet. But if that's, to me, what annoys me about some women that have kids is that they don't adjust their lifestyle. Yeah. So if you want to go and get punched up by your man and have a guy rough you up in the bedroom and all the rest of it, that's fine. That's what you want to do, that's fine. I'm a little bit annoyed that my taxpayers' money goes towards your NHS bill, but that's a whole different conversation. But when you bring that type of energy around your child, I lose respect for you. Because the child can't consent to that. You as an adult can consent to that if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
She's not like she's not taking into consideration his future. But also it just feels like she's just kind of like, I don't know, just kind of wandering her way through life and like letting it happen to her by taking these like...
She's not letting it happen to her, she's seeking it out. That's even worse than letting it happen to her.
Yeah.
She's seeking it out.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm trying to look like, I'm quite a logical thinker. Yeah. So I'm trying to sit here and understand.
You can't be logical with illogical people.
Yeah,
you're going to hurt your brain.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's hurting because I'm like, oh, maybe there's a reason. I'm searching. No. And there's no reason for why she'd want that. No. Well, I think you dodged the bullet with that one, to be
ridiculous. Yeah. That people like her, and they're very common. People like her, and then people that start asking me about money straight away. I'm done out with you.
I don't know how I never get this. Or to be fair, I struggle to get a conversation on some of these apps.
I honestly think some girls look at me, see that I'm black with a beard, and think he must be fucked up. And then if they then when they talk to me and find out I'm kind of normal, they're like, no.
Then you got daddy issues
boring.
Or something. Like...
They just think, oh, boring.
Yeah.
I want someone that's fucked up. So, well, I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, sorry. Conversation ends here. I guess.
Literally, bro. Girls be getting turned off that man's like emotionally stable or normal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they don't like that.
They hear how you talk. They hear you quite sophisticated, and
bro, they hate it. And then there's some other thing. I got banned from Tinder because she had fucked up teeth. She had a banging body but fucked up teeth, and she was like, "Oh, you better be taking me sushi samba or taking me here." And I was like, "Blood, that money should go on your dentistry, bro." You know what I'm saying? Before.
That is one non-negotiable for me. It's like
bad teeth.
Yeah, I just feel like any Jeremy Kyle type teeth is just, I can't stop looking at it. Do you know what I mean? It's just
right in the middle of your head as well.
Yeah, so, exactly. Like, but then I'm just supposed to be looking at your eyes, but I'm just getting drawn to your crooked yellow.
Yeah, it's a bit mad.
Yellow bones in your mouth. Do you know what I mean?
It's a bit mad still. But yeah, bruv, that's, you know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's normally when I get to the first disagreement, they generally tap out.
Yeah, I to be honest, it's just wild because I think I don't even get to that stage because I'm just trying to morph myself into what they want.
That's what I said. Like when I said I'm not trying to at you, I can tell when I'm talking to these women that the majority of men just go
that's me. I do that.
And when they say something and I go I don't know about that, you know. They're like,
you confront them on it.
They go fucking ballistic. They're like, do you know? I'm like, bruv, that's crazy.
But that's just how they're conditioned, I guess, from being on these apps.
Yeah, they can condition themselves out of my life, blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's calm, but I'm not trying.
I need to take a leaf out of your book. I need to have more disagreements.
Fuck all that, bruv. You just go out there and say, the thing is, you got to go with girls. If girls are on dating apps, whatever, they're meeting you, talking to you, whatever. They want to see what you're like. It's not about witty lines and punchlines and shit you can Google. They want to see who you are. Who are you?
Yeah, but still,
you got to say, listen, this is who I am, and if you're interested, you're interested. If you're not interested, fuck off.
Yeah, but you can't start the conversation like that.
Of course you can.
Yeah, what? No, you have to have some sort of like something that makes them like actually want to bite and get to know you.
Who's more successful with women?
Yeah, but even you don't. What you never start a conversation saying, "Hi, I'm Nick. I'm fucking got my life together." Blah blah blah.
I reckon if X was on Tinder, he would start off.
Yeah, but
he'd open the message going, I'm half man, half amazing, all that kind of shit.
Yeah, but that's different because X could do that.
Do it, but your next dating match, your next date at match, I'm going to write the intro for you. And we'll see what happens.
Do it after
In fact,
this and then
the last couple times I've written intros for you, it's gone fairly well.
I don't know. That was, what, years ago maybe.
That was like a year ago.
Yeah, I don't know when.
But
you
still,
did it.
I remember
true,
open a
actually.
message.
True. I'm trying to remember back to it. Are you
Yeah.
sure? Which one was it? Oh wait, you played around with a few on Hinge. Right?
Yeah. That's what it is.
All right.
But there you go.
Go to Nic for dating advice.
No, don't come to me for dating advice. Don't do that. Or come to me if you want real advice. Do you know what I mean?
Real advice.
Yeah, like my little sister sent me some fucking thing on Instagram of like some girl crying saying when your brother gives you harsh advice or some bullshit. I was like, it's not harsh advice, it's true. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't like it.
Yeah, but because you're like very blunt. You won't shy away from any facts.
What difference does it make? What difference does it make if someone asks how what's Dom's hair like, and I say Dom is bald? From, well, Dom used to have lovely hair, but obviously everybody is different, and at this particular time in his life, he finds himself follically challenged. What difference does it fucking make?
I would prefer the second one, personally. Yeah.
Listen, it just comes out the same way, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? I don't understand the difference. For me personally, maybe it's a failing of mine. You lot let me know. I don't understand the difference. Man's bald, innit?
I want to know how your ex would feel about you calling her boobies fucking cloudy meatballs, bro.
I probably said it to her.
I want to hear how she reacts to that. I want to know that.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to hear how she reacts to that. You can chat to her directly, bro. If you see this, message Dom, bro. You can chat to him. Chat to him in the DMs, bro.
Alright, man. Let's.
She find it funny.
She find it funny.
Yeah,
she wouldn't take any insult to it, no.
My exes know what I'm like. You know what I'm saying? Like, if either of my exes saw the podcast, just the thumbnail, they would go, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" they wouldn't even have to watch it. They would know basically everything that I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Just the name.
Yeah, they would see Only Mans and be like, right,
okay,
I know where this is going.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, man. Let's wrap it up for this week.
Give us some thoughts, man. You do it.
Give us some thoughts. Oh,
does it have to be me every week?
And I feel so because like you're the guy that I come to for advice, so now coming back to me for advice.
Alright, fine. Go out there and live your truth, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? Put your best foot forward. Don't let other people be who they're going to be and you react to who they are. You go and be who you are first. Do you know what I'm saying?
I feel like your closing lines are just... Sorry, I'll cut you off completely, but I feel like your closing lines are just aimed at me.
You just said you'd come to me for advice.
I know, and then you just went, how do I advise Dom this time?
But anybody else that finds themselves in the same problem that Dom finds himself in, it don't matter if it's the workplace, relationships, family. As you get older, you've realised that life is all about managing your relationships. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to go out there and live your life, put your first foot forwards, do you know what I'm saying? Impress who you are on the world, and then people are going to deal with it how they deal with it.
Don't be afraid to express your opinions.
100%. Just be you. Just be who you are. Even if you're quiet, be quiet. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't let people pressure you into pretending to be loud. That's bullshit. Yeah. Just be who you are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't sing God Save the King.
Yeah.
Peace.